You're listening to Real Estate Coffee Talk. I'm your host, Sarah Hilton, and this is your weekly live coffee date with the who's who from every corner of the real estate industry. Every week, we're spotlighting stories that inspire and tips that empower. So whether you're new to the game or a seasoned pro, there's something for everyone. Now grab your mug and let's get into it. Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Real Estate Coffee Talk. I'm so happy you're here. I know I have not been here in quite a bit. Actually, it's funny if you know me doing very type B things. One of the last solo episodes I did was something about growing on Instagram, and it was part 1. And guess who never came back for part 2? That would be me. Very type B things, but I'm back. I'm so happy to be here. I'm glad you're here. In June, I had a baby. I had a very rough pregnancy. And so around April or May, I kind of fell off the wagon. I also needed to get a lot of work done so I can get some type of maternity leave time off. Just a couple of things of housekeeping. We're going to be back every Tuesday. Today, I dropped 2 shows. There's me, this one, and the next one is with my friend Rebecca. You are going to absolutely love it. She has really great ideas as far as capturing attention with Instagram. So that's just us kind of giving you 2 quick episodes to make up for the last few months. But every week is going to be an episode. One week will be a solo episode of me giving you kind of like Instagram tips, AI tips, lead gen tips, all for real estate marketing. And the next week will be guest interviews. If you know of someone that should be on the show, or if you want to be on the show yourself, go ahead to the show notes and you'll see the application. Send that in to me. We'll take a look at it. Coming up in a couple of weeks, I talked to someone about what AI is doing for real estate. So lots of cool things coming up. Also, one thing I wanted to mention is that I am having a Black Friday sale. It's my favorite time of the year. Black Friday sale starts the Monday before Thanksgiving. We're going to be having 5 days of deals just like we did last year. Crazy good deals and discounts. So if you want to get on the wait list for that, go to the show notes, jump on the wait list. You'll be the first to be notified when those deals start coming out. I'm so excited for them. I think you're going to love them. And without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so one of the conversations I have when I'm talking with a lot of realtors or I'm doing these workshops, or also I just took on a new client recently. It's a huge team, very well known in the area, but they were like, how can we rank at the top of Google? And I was like, well, takes a while, takes a bit of money. That was the benefit of posting on YouTube for a realtor, was the ability to be seen, because YouTube is owned by Google, and so YouTube videos were showing up in search results. Still an excellent source of lead gen and marketing if that's what you're doing. But up until this year, Google was not indexing content that came off of Instagram. And as of this July, they are. So with this new indexing update that Google announced, what if your Instagram could show up in Google search results when people are searching different terms related to buying or selling? Because you are going to be creating hyper-local content, you have a much better chance of kind of showing up the top even before your website. I have a client who, as soon as you search her name, her social media channels come up before her website. Or if you search actually the way we've been running her channels. Now, if you say realtor in her town, her social channels come up. So the same thing could be done for you. You want to think hyper local. So first of all, let's just explain what the Google indexing update is. Google now is crawling your Instagram account for 3 types of content. It's going to grab your Instagram Reels, your static posts, so like that one picture, or carousel posts, which is the ones that you slide through. It's not going to grab anything from your stories. And that's because the way Instagram is set up, your stories are only shown to people who already follow you. Okay, so let's talk about a couple of steps that you want to do to really make sure that you are doing everything you could possibly do to show up in search results. All right. Step 1, you want to optimize your profile. Google can only pull from your Instagram if you are on a professional account. So that can be either business or creator, but it has to be professional, which means it has to be public. You want it to be set up like that in your settings. It cannot be private, or else it obviously can't grab from there. Then you want to optimize it. So you want to first have a searchable name field. So this should say something like Sarah Hilton, Charlotte Realtor, Sarah Hilton, Charlotte Real Estate Agent. It could also say your name, but then say like Charlotte Realtor and then first time home buyers. Those are the keywords that Google is going to pick up on. Okay. This is your headline. It's what Google is going to scan first when they're doing this indexing. Okay. Then you want a bio that has good local SEO or good local keywords. So you can say something like helping Charlotte buyers and sellers or helping Charlotte buyers find new construction. Okay. Those are strong keywords. One thing I always say is don't use local monikers. Here in Charlotte, locals sometimes refer to it as the Queen City. However, even if you live here, you're not searching best realtor in the Queen City. You're searching best realtor Charlotte, right? Same goes, I'm from New York. You know, people call it the Big Apple, right? No one's searching best agent in the Big Apple. That's just not how people search. All right. So that's number one. That should be in that headline. And then you should also be telling people who you are, what you do, and where you serve, right? This is also a good place where you can use some social proof. So if you've been a top agent or won awards or have certifications, all that can be in that little bio area. You just want to be sure that you are using that area to grab the name of your city. Your link in your bio. So Instagram allows for one visible link. I always like that link to not be one of those link tree links. So you never want to send someone to a page where now they have 10 other options. You want to be very direct, so that call to action should tell them to do one thing. And then when they get to whatever page, they should be able to do exactly what you told them that you wanted them to do, right? Because think of the way people browse. They're on Instagram. They want a quick fix. They don't, once you send them to a website and say, search homes, they're going to go to this website. They're going to see the home buying thing. They're going to see 10 other options and you're going to lose them. So we want to be hyper specific here. This is a good area to give them like a lead magnet or to say, schedule your buyer consultation, whatever that is. You want to tell them exactly what you want to do, and then you want to use that URL area to guide them directly to where you said you were going to guide them to. The other thing I want to say there real quick is that Instagram does allow you to use multiple links. I wouldn't bother with that. You can switch them out over time, but I would only give people one option on that page. Okay. Step 2, content. So if we want to rank, we want to know what people want to know. And I guarantee you, no one is searching just listed or under contract. That's just not the way they search. I want you to put yourself in the mindset of today's would-be buyers. And if I was looking for the best realtor in my city, how would I go on Google and start doing that? Google also has something that it announced recently called answer engine optimization. What that is in layman's terms is just they're crawling your account for content that answers in a very concise and simple way common questions that are being asked. So we just need to reverse engineer that. What are people asking? A really great tool that I can use for this is a website called answerthepublic.com. I'll link it in the show notes. You've probably heard me talk about it before. What it does is track how people are searching and what they are searching. So if I look at it as of today, of the day of this recording, when I look at buying a house, some of the common terms on the search engines are when buying a home, who pays the realtor? When buying a home, do I need down payment? Okay. And then on social media, now, if you're watching me on YouTube, you'll see I'm like turning my head a different direction because it gives you the results in like a pinwheel. But on social media, they're searching home buying, how buying a home works, what to do when buying a home, where to start buying a home. Okay. So those are the common questions that people want to know. Literally, this is telling you exactly how people are searching. So you want to answer those questions. All right. So when we talk about when buying a home, who pays the realtor, you want to build content around that exact question. Don't make it cutesy or anything like that. You want to answer that exact question. So what I would do is get on Answer the Public, get 10 questions that you want to answer. For step 3, we're going to move to what is the SEO caption framework. So for your captions, I want you to think of them as miniature blogs, right? So the way that when you were writing blogs or when you used to see blogs, the way people would make these blogs very keyword friendly, that's what you want to be doing on Instagram. So first you want to start strong, that especially that first line of your caption should read almost like the headline of a blog. Your primary keyword is going to be your city, your town, however works best. Here in Charlotte, this is a fairly big city, and then we have little towns outside of it. So whatever you want to be known for. For example, if you live in a neighborhood with very low turnover in a small town, you're probably not going to want to like pigeonhole yourself into that. If you live in a neighborhood, like I have a client who lives in a neighborhood, she practically owns this neighborhood as far as her farm, and there's 1,500 homes in there, and people know of this neighborhood, so they'll search for that neighborhood. You know your market best, so I'm not going to tell you exactly what to do, but let's make sure that people would actually search for that name of that neighborhood or that town or that city. Okay, so your first line of the caption should have that primary keyword. So I'm just going to say Charlotte for now. The way we're going to frame that headline is when buying a home in Charlotte, who pays the realtor? Okay. So that line tells Google exactly what your post is about. Now you want to add 2 to 3 secondary keywords: buying and then realtor, or buying and then who pays. Those are secondary things, or buying and then home and then realtor. Those are secondary keywords. Those are likely to be picked up. And then we're going to answer one clear question. So you never want to make a reel and say how to buy a home. That's going to answer 100 questions. We want to start off with one clear question. That goes back to my example. When buying a home, who pays the realtor? If you're making a video about how do I buy a home, Google can't possibly deliver your content because it doesn't answer one simple question. It's very nuanced. Another example is that, can I buy a home with no money down, right? That's one of the most searched ones. So for your headline, you would say, can I buy a home in Charlotte with no money down? All right. Then you want to use hashtags. Now, the jury's out on whether hashtags work, whether they don't work. I've been on calls with Meta themselves, and they're like, it really helps you get filed away in a certain area. But I know myself, I've been found by people because I use hashtags. So you just want to use them strategically. You don't have to use them for the sake of using them. So you want to use 2 to 3 geo-optimized keywords. So you can say Charlotte homes, Charlotte real estate, Charlotte homes for sale, moving to Charlotte. All those are geo-optimized, right? So they have the name of that city, that neighborhood, that town, etc. in the caption. That's the primary driver. Then you want to have 2 to 3 in a niche. So you can say Charlotte new construction or Charlotte first time home buyers. That's a niche where it's speaking to a certain audience in that city. Then you want to use 2 to 3 long tail keywords. So basically long tail is just very similar to how people are searching. So you can say hashtag buying a home in Charlotte, hashtag selling my Charlotte home. Okay, that's called a long tail keyword, but we're going to make it as a hashtag. And then I want you to use 2 to 3 that are branded. So just your name, or Sarah Hilton Realtor, or Sarah Hilton Best Realtor Charlotte. However you want to do that, they should be branded with your name and with that city. Another thing you can do is when you're posting on Instagram, you can use alt text. What alt text is designed to do is, if someone can't, this was really made for like visually impaired people, but it reads the text to know what the picture is. You are in, let's say you're posting a carousel text about when buying a home, who pays the realtor. In that alt text, I'm going to say something like Charlotte Realtor Sarah Hilton explaining when buying a home, who pays the realtor. Okay. It sounds very redundant, but that's what we want. That's what helps get you seen. Okay. Always tag your location. Always put your city, your town, your neighborhood, whatever that is. And then again, you want to add a strong call to action I like adding it to every post. So you can say, DM me this word to get my list of homes in this city, or DM me to set up a buyer consultation, or DM me to find out about this open house. Whatever that is, Always have some sort of call to action, even if that's as simple as just follow me on this page. The only thing I wouldn't do is, unless you have something really rich that you know you're going to drive people in, I wouldn't send them off of Instagram. Okay. So don't say, go to my link in bio to search Charlotte Holmes. You're absolutely going to lose them. Unless that's really compelling, whatever that lead magnet is, keep them inside of the Instagram platform. So let's move on to the next step is scaling your content and making sure that you are repurposing and getting seen as much as possible. If you really want to be serious about this and you really kind of want to dominate this search, which I guarantee you most realtors aren't doing, but if you really want to like make the most of this organic free marketing, basically, I want you to keep in mind that you need both short-term visibility and then long-term discoverability. And both of those are found on different platforms, right? Instagram is really good at giving short-term visibility, right? You get quick attention, you get that indexing from Google, but you're also being shown, your reels specifically are being shown to people that are not already following you, right? So it gives you an opportunity to be discovered in a way you may not have normally been discovered before. Now, if we take that same content and we put it on YouTube, now YouTube allows you long-term discoverability, right? Now, if we take that content and we put it over on something like YouTube, YouTube allows your content to be discoverable long-term. It's just the nature of how YouTube works. I would take that exact reel you're putting up there. You don't have to do a whole bunch with it. Put it up there as a YouTube short. Use that same title that will help you get discovered. Basically, it's the answer or it's the question. Use that as your title. Use the same caption. It's not going to take you a lot of time, but over time, it's going to do a lot for like optimizing and making the most of every piece of content you're putting out there. I would not go through a whole nother editing process just to put it on YouTube. You just want to simply download it, upload it to YouTube. I know we're talking about a lot here, but the new Instagram Edit app is chef's kiss, because before you couldn't download your videos from Instagram unless you want a watermark and unless you want your audio removed. Now with the Edit app, you can create everything in that Edit app, download it, and upload it straight to YouTube with all the music and fun stuff and all that. Okay. So, and without the watermark, which is the biggest thing. So together, Instagram allows you to be discovered and to reach a bigger amount of people. And then YouTube is giving you that depth as far as time, as far as getting discovered over time. And then the last thing is you just want to track your metrics, improve, and then rinse and repeat, right? So you can go to the Google Search Console and see like if any of those URLs for your Instagram videos are being seen. Are they showing any impressions in the Google Search Console? And just all you have to do is, I know this is very meta, but Google the Google Search Console and you'll be able to see it. Also, watch your Instagram insights. What are the videos people are saving? What are they sharing? And then which of them are making them come to your profile? Google using those engagement signals to figure out what is worth bringing to the top of those search results, what's trusted content. Also, this gives you great insights into what you can create more of, okay? You never have to be afraid about talking on the same topic twice or answering the same question twice. In fact, you want to do that. You want to repurpose everything. The other thing I want you to do is if you've been regular on Instagram up until now, I want you to go through maybe your top 3 to 5 posts, right? Look at them and see what you can edit to kind of put these things into play, right? So do they already include your city in the captions? If not, add them. Are they geotagged? If not, add it. All right. So that is that for today. I really want you to take advantage of that. I think that this update offers an excellent opportunity to be seen for those who are using Instagram. Like, listen, you're already posting the content. You might as well optimize it to be search, because there is, while sites like Zillow and Realtor can own these major cities and can own that search, when you are doing them for smaller cities, locations, answering specific questions that Zillow isn't going to answer, that is what's going to allow you to rise to the top. To help you out, I kind of condense all this information into like an Instagram SEO checklist. If you want it, you can either go to the show notes. There's going to be a link where you can go ahead and grab that. Or you can go to my Instagram, follow me. It's at The Lead Suite, TheLeadSuite. Send me a DM with the word Google and I'll send this to you so you can kind of walk through each of your posts and you have a little best practices checklist to make sure that you're making the most of your Instagram content. All right. I am so happy you're here. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure you come back. Well, make sure you check both of our episodes today. Make sure you come back next Tuesday for another episode. And until then, I'll see you soon. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Real Estate Coffee Talk. If you enjoyed it, please take a moment to subscribe and leave us a review. It really helps. If you'd like to be featured on the show, you can get that information right in the show notes. Be sure to tune in next week for another new episode. And until then, keep your dreams big and your mugs full. See you next week.